Hi, Stuart. This is Jan.
Yes, Sean.
Could you talk about will? Is will a product of the mind?
Uh, yes, yes, will is a product of the mind. I mean, there's divine will, the will of God, and karma, and how things manifest in the world. And then there's each individual human being's will. If you'll pardon my coughing here, but each human being's will determine how deeply they're willing to work inside themselves. Are they willing to get past all the encumbrances, the difficulties? Are they willing to connect their will with higher energy in the universe? Or the human will and the divine will going to be a marriage of these two energies, enabling a person who practices deep inner work to grow spiritually. Will is a very positive way of using energy of the mind, having a need to have a spiritual life, and the will to overcome all of the encumbrances. And if we do that, we begin to understand what potential a human being has if they use the tools that they're born with creatively. So the chakra system exists inside a human being. Will is a very positive way of using the mind. I'm not going to allow the blocks, the tensions to interfere with the progress of my spiritual development. I will overcome them. I will use the mind, the breath. Mind and breath are also, you know, very much the nature of being human. It just depends upon how you use these things. If we're a slave to the mind, then you understand that's what determines how we live. If we're a slave to our emotions, but all of these things can be turned around. And as the chakra system develops, the needs inside a human being get clearer, more profound. So, yeah, will is a product. It's how you use your mind. And mind is a very powerful instrument. And usually it uses us. It creates conflict, tension, fear, insecurity, creates all kinds of crap that people have to live with. And through the will to transform all of that stuff and the use of the mind in a proper way, we learn how to clear up all the chaos inside us. And yes, there is divine will. And, the way we understand divine will is the way our karma works itself out. But you understand the human will and divine will work together. You can live your life not giving a shit about anything, not caring about anything, complaining about everything, and that's how your karma unfolds. But you can also take that same energy and transform that negativity into something that works for you. And that depends upon whether or not a human being needs to have a spiritual life and doing what you have to do to have a spiritual life. I mean, you read all, when I was younger, I used to read these, hagiographies of the saints, and every single one of them had to do what they had to do in order to become enlightened beings. And some of them had to go through hell in order to attain a state of enlightenment, but they were willing to go through it because it was their pathway to God. I hope that's clear. I mean, this is not an easy subject, and it's something that it's like so much of what I teach, you have to grow into. It's not something like you go into a physics class and take notes and memorize and pass a test. I mean, it's not like that. It's how does the energy, the Shakti of these meditations and what is being taught, create inner growth inside a human being that is organic, and how we change that way and begin to understand life in a much more profound manner. But you could take all the notes in the world in this, and it's not going to do you 1 ounce of good. You take one conscious breath, they'll do more than reams of notes. Keeping your mind focused below the navel will do more than reams of notes. Tapping your need to have a spiritual life. I mean, that will replace volumes of notes. Just tapping your need to have a spiritual life, and then using your will to do it. I mean, it's very simple, all this stuff, I mean, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's not some, metaphysical, complex, cosmological understanding of the gods and goddesses in the cosmos. It goes beyond that to a very human level. We can use mind, breath, will, and need to develop a chakra system that will make it possible for us to have a spiritual life. And the incredible thing that it does is it enables us to recognize that life itself is the temple, not an ashram, not a monastery, not yeah, I'm not putting those places down. People have to be in those places because they provide a certain level of teaching. But ultimately, the real guru is life. And what is life? It's the will to succeed, the need to succeed, the using of the tools. I mean, if you're in business, there's the will to succeed and the need to succeed, and using all the tools of your business to make success possible. So in meditation, there's the will to have a spiritual life, the need to have a spiritual life, the will to do it, and using the mind and the breath and chakras to make it possible. Those are the tools. And then allowing ourselves time and maturity and to grow, not being in a rush. It's like that Japanese Zen saying, climb Mount Fuji, oh snail. But slowly, slowly, you know. It's a wonderful metaphor for spiritual practice, having patience. We're all a bunch of snails. Although we think we do things quickly, we don't. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, John. The thing about Zoom is when I cough, nobody can catch any of it. It's really terrific. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? So I'd just like to repeat it again. Please, if you read my book and it really like it, you found things in it that really have helped you in your life, you just write a review of it on Amazon or, I think also Barnes and Noble, they have it in their catalog. And, just write some reviews and maybe somebody will read it and buy the book. And it might help somebody, you know, develop a spiritual life. Okay, if there are no more questions, then thank you and God bless you all. Thank you for being here and for all of us doing this kind of deep inner work. And hopefully everybody that attends grows, that it's really effectually changing one's life. They're growing, they're opening to a much higher level of creativity and a connection with God. And then all of this serves a purpose. It really has a purpose. And it's a divine purpose. It's really in service of higher energy. So God bless you all. Thank you. And there'll be meditation tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I mean, I never used to announce that, but most of the people in that European and Israeli class come from the United States. So there will be a 1 o'clock class tomorrow, and then on Wednesday there'll be a 7:30 in the evening class. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless you.
Good night, Stuart. Feel better,
Thank you,
buddy.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.